we've become accustomed this year. 4 times we traveled with football, and we left, we flew, we bussed, we went into the hotel bubble, and we played the game and flew back. And it's going to be a trip very similar to that. I know that the bowl committee is going to work hard to make sure the students, while they're there, have a good experience. But safe is going to be important. And then obviously the goal is to win the game. I know everybody is aware that Kirk Ferentz was one of those, because he chose to share that. And I can tell you that there were other football staff and student athletes in that group. It wasn't entirely football. There were other sports represented in those 14 positives. One of the things I talked to Kirk about this morning was just the plan for himself and anybody else that's going through the COVID infection and protocol. And what I'll tell you, Mike, is he has a plan, and we're ready to go. And obviously, he'll have to work from home until his quarantine isolation time is up, and he has a plan going forward, and we'll work that plan. And we'll leave on the 29th, and so anybody who is available to go on the 29th will be there in person, and we'll get ready to play a good Missouri team.
So is it a significant amount of football coaches who are affected by the virus?
There are coaches, staff, and student athletes included in football, but that's, as we've been doing since the beginning, that's as far as I'll go. Well, we have, our medical team will make the determination, and they'll do it in conjunction with what you referenced, and that is the Big Ten protocol. So we'll be watching the overall rate, the 2 rates that have been identified. We have a infectious disease representative on our campus. We have our doctor, our team doctor. They'll be communicating with the Big Ten and with us. And it's just going to take, if we're still within the percentages that are allowed by the Big Ten, then we'll keep moving forward. If at any time we were to go higher than those percentages, then if the doctors shared that information with us, we'd have to go on pause, which has been the case throughout the country on occasion. Well, on pause might mean a few different things. On pause might be, is it for a couple of days? Depending on, is it student athletes? Is it staff members? I think all of that will have to be evaluated. The medical protocol established by the Big Ten will determine that. But the goal and the plan is to play in the bowl. And there haven't been any discussions about postponing or moving that date, because we haven't reached that point of discussion. So just waiting. Everybody's coming back to campus today, and everybody will go through our testing protocol, and then we'll plan to resume practice unless there was some reason we couldn't related to COVID. My estimate today still has a range, but I'm in talking with our CFO, and working with campus. My estimate today is somewhere between $55 and $65 million deficit. So that was a long answer, but that's where it is today. Now we still have the bowl season to play out, and we still have men's basketball games to be played, and that will have an impact when it's all said and done. But I'm estimating somewhere between 55 and 65 million is going to be our deficit, which is when I say those numbers and I think about our revenue and I think about moving forward, that's still a huge deficit that we're going to have to be working through probably for the next decade. While the vaccine is coming, and when none of us know how that's going to work out, I just don't, from what I'm hearing, and if anybody's hearing differently, I just don't know that we're going to have relief from the pandemic before basketball season ends or wrestling season ends. So at this point, I'm not optimistic, but I sure am hopeful. I would love to have fans back in Carver, even if it was a limited number to start with. But as of today, there's not yet any date by which I see us hearing about some sort of relief. The bowls will be a money loser when it's all said and done throughout the Big Ten. But we don't look at it as a win or loss, Chad. What we did is we sat down with our bowl partners collectively, and we said to them, and they said to us, that this was going to be an extraordinary year. And on our campuses, in our conference, and at the bowl sites, everybody was trying to work through, have an experience, have a bowl experience, have a game, knowing that it wasn't going to be financially a positive, but also knowing that we have long-term relationships with many of these bowls, and all of them we have several years still remaining. So as partners, we wanted to work together to make it as good a possibility and as good a situation for both partners as we could. So there will not be money made, but the goal is to either have zero money lost or have it at least be the least impactful as possible financially.